Welcome into a Sunday night edition of the Jordy Culotta Show live here, and as always, presented by Lance Beal, attorney at law. Our friend Lance Beal, remember you can find him at Lance Beal, attorney at law online. He is there. He can help you out with just about any type of representation that you're looking for. Professional and the best over at lawofficeoflancebeal.com. As you can find him there for professional representation. Phone number's easy, 337-991-6263. Personal injury, small business, construction law, family law, estate planning. Let our friend Lance Beal help you out. Got a lot to talk to you about here on this Sunday night as the Saints get back in the win column for after they had been on a consecutive losing streak. Alvin Kamara back in the lineup. He makes an enormous difference as he was dancing all over the Meadowlands today. We will also talk to B.J. Ojulari and Kayshon Boutte. Boutte, of course, in the news and everybody curious on what the future may lie. It sounds like Boutte's got some good news. I don't think that after talking to him a little bit, I kind of feel like he's locked in one more year. I mean,
do you feel like he's talked to Coach Kelly at all?
We'll find out.
Okay,
we'll find out. Coming up here at 8:30 this evening, LSU basketball, best start for the Tigers in 22 years, as they're off to a 9-0 start. Yesterday they beat Georgia Tech, and that second half performance is going to be one that I really do think that you think about as this team and as this season goes on. As LSU yesterday was really struggling offensively. They couldn't find it, man. They were having a tough time finding it, but their defense was the absolute difference maker, as it has proved to be throughout the first couple of weeks of the season. And LSU came out in the second half and bludgeoned Georgia Tech. I mean, how much better they were athletically than Georgia Tech was scary. I mean, the play that Alex Fudge made at the rim defensively, some of the plays that Efton Reed made around the goal offensively, they smothered Georgia Tech in the second half. And Georgia Tech really looked like they were playing with some confidence and like they thought that they were going to have a chance. I mean, they choked that team out, and for the last 14 minutes of that game last night, I mean, LSU looked dominant. They looked dominant on the defensive side of the ball. It's scary to think about how good defensively they can be. It really is.
Because, I mean, Georgia Tech was flying around at the start of that game. Like, every ball, every play, every time the ball got the corner, they're doubling, flying, and then LSU just completely took the wind from underneath their sails.
LSU made 3 of its first 19 shots from the field, to give you an idea of just how cold and bad they were offensively. Darius Days missed his first 6 shots before finally sinking a three-pointer around the 5:19 mark, 5:20 mark of the first half, which really seemed to kickstart LSU. Tigers will be back at home on Tuesday night versus Northwestern State. The General's going to be here tomorrow morning. Will Wade will be in the UDL, or he'll be on the phone line with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show tomorrow morning at 7:30. So if you need to set a timer, set an alert, or make sure and do that, yes, subscribe and hit the bell. As always, here on the Sunday nights, we're brought to you by Lance Beal. And then recruiting this weekend was a big one, right? Last open weekend of recruiting before this early signing period will come upon us in the middle of the week here on December 13th, and it's going to be it'll be interesting to see what happens and what goes down after LSU. December 15th, after LSU this weekend had a bunch of guys in town, including Walker Howard, Bo Bordelon, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Fitz West, LaTerrence Welsh, and Nathan Dilbert, the place kicker. All of those guys are on committed from the state. And then you had Mason Taylor and DeMario Tolan from Florida, who were committed players here this weekend. And then a couple of guys that were uncommitted, including Quincy Wiggins, who was in town, and Kendrick Law. Law from North Louisiana is one of the top players in the state, and to see those guys on campus for LSU this last weekend was pretty interesting. It'll be it's just going to be fun to watch this week. You know, I mean, I don't know how to really judge this week as far as LSU is concerned. There's always going to be setbacks when you talk about coaching changes and recruiting classes, especially when you make those changes this late in the game when all of the relationships really have been established. But like we said last week, getting Frank Wilson for LSU was absolutely enormous, and how much time and ground he can make up in the last couple of days here of recruiting is going to be it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see just kind of how he puts this class together. There was a piece of media that came out this afternoon of him and Walker Howard, which
Love it.
I mean, my guy
He's trying.
Brian Kelly
I love
is.
it.
He looks like he's straight from Louisiana.
I mean,
what
it
y'all
looks
are
like he's
talking
like
about.
stepping on ants.
The rhythm is not there.
I mean, he makes Will Wade look like the Jabberwockies. I mean, that is an uncomfortable, cringy kind of like turn it off as I'm watching, but give me more.
They can't look at the car
Yeah,
crash.
I love
You
it.
can't look away.
It is a train
I
wreck.
text Lloyd. I said, "It's so awkward. I love it."
I love it. I just love that he's trying. He's out there. He doesn't
The part I love about it is that he just doesn't care.
care.
Well,
They
what?
don't
I mean,
care.
he's doing it with the best quarterback in the country. I
If
mean,
this is what it takes to get Walker Howard, this is what I'll do with Walker Howard.
right.
Walker's on his back. Going, what are we doing over here?
Turn
what kind
the
of
music
song
up.
and dance are we doing?
I love it.
Get
It
me in
is-
shotgun.
It's something, bro. I mean, so I guess this is the new recruiting room for LSU. This is
Yeah.
Uh,
kind of the first time I've seen this.
They stay on that little platform. They got that 360
Yeah.
camera that kind of goes around. It's
Didn't
pretty
think
cool.
there was room for two.
But Walker Howard
Takes two to tango or something like that.
and Brian Kelly this afternoon
Had himself a day.
closing up the visit was pretty good. I mean, the national media is raining down on Brian Kelly. It has been interesting to see how hateable
Yeah.
Yes.
of a
Yeah.
coach he is nationally. I didn't know the brand of Brian Kelly, but I guess it can't be surprising because we felt that down here in Baton Rouge. I mean, there were years where you're like, Brian Kelly is
What do
just-
you do?
right.
I mean, he still did it this year with the execution joke, and you're just like,
Yeah.
he is all over the place.
Yeah.
And so he swings and misses quite a bit, but yeah, the national fodder for Brian Kelly has got. I feel like he was a little protected at Notre Dame. Like they didn't really touch on him too
Right.
much,
They have
but
a ball
because
game now.
he was there for so long, he was so tenured that it was like, oh, that's Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. But now that he's back in the public eye, all of this stuff is coming back out. And the funniest one of all is that Lebitard
Yeah.
won't let it go. Like
No.
they have circled him.
Well, there's a Notre Dame fan on the staff, Jessica, the
Smetana.
the newest addition to the Levitard and Friends crew is on staff, and she is a Notre Dame lifer. Like went to Notre Dame, loves Notre Dame, grew up watching Notre Dame,
Love
so
Brian
she's
Kelly.
all in, and you can tell she's jaded by what Kelly did to Notre Dame. So they almost kind of rib her, but they also. They hate LSU. You know, they hate LSU for the Title IX stuff, and they have kind of like been some of the loudest national voices on talking about that stuff. They kind of look at LSU like a football factory. Like, they only care about football. It's such a place that you can win. You can even put this, they call Ojulari the Swamp Monster. You can even put the Swamp Monster in place, and he wins national championships. So it's fun to watch kind of like how they respond to Brian Kelly, but they do. I mean, they pour in on him nearly every day.
Every time.
And as I was watching that tonight, I was thinking, they're going to talk about this for a week.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to talk about this all week.
And we're stuck with we have to do the opposite, right? If he's your head coach for LSU football, don't you feel like he's our guy now? So you kind of
Yes.
have to
You're a little
protect him a little bit.
protective.
Yeah.
And it's just tough to find. It's really hard to defend him.
Well, I mean, you can't defend that. You can't. I mean, but you have to laugh at it, and
Embrace
you have to
it.
take on the mentality that he has, which I think, from an LSU side, leaves you kind of like, yeah, all right. I mean, he just doesn't care.
He's
I mean,
he's an asshole to everybody.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
It's like,
so he's our
what I mean?
asshole.
Like, if you don't like it, change the channel. I mean,
Right.
I'm doing it with the number one quarterback in the country, and we're about to start winning games with LSU.
So was that the commitment? Was that Walker Howard announcing he was committed essentially?
I mean, the
I know it's out there. I know
yeah,
it's,
but
I didn't know if that was like the official.
what he said. Look at the speed on this cat. Good Lord,
Who is that?
Grant.
That's the guy from
Oh,
Texas Tech.
Jakeem Grant.
Yeah.
He was on the Dolphins.
I think LSU played against him in that bowl
They-
game.
That Mahomes.
Yeah,
That was his Tyreek Hill.
I mean, Coach, he just turned the corner
He
like
can
Tyreek
go.
Hill. But it is wild to see how much people have
Piled on.
just piled on Kelly. Craig Polk says, "Can you play the video? We can retweet it on our social media,
It's
right?
it's out
Or
on
can we
it's
play
out
it?
on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Check our social, and we can get it there. What's going on there?
Well, a little ad popped up.
Okay. All right, we got BJ Ojulari coming up here in, we'll call him now, and then we've got Kayshon Boutte coming up here at 8:30 this evening. So make sure you like, share, comment on the post. We appreciate you being here. There's a lot to get to as we'll wrap up the recruiting weekend. We'll talk about the basketball game last night. Tigers back home. Going to play Tuesday night inside of the Maravich Center. They'll play who they have, Northwestern?
That's what you said.
Yes,
on Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
And then obviously we'll talk about this LSU football staff. Still no offensive and defensive coordinator announced.
See, this is what is shocking to me about the LSU fan base. They are very much okay with Brian Kelly and what's going on in this new staff change. I thought there'd be a lot of pushback.
Gotta have agree.
I'm getting a ton of shit thrown at me for just asking questions. I'm just wondering if there's answers out there.
Yeah.
Because if it was anybody else, it feels like if Coach O was doing it at this point in the same way, he'd be getting shit on.
Yeah.
So for it to be like everybody just kind of taking a step back and putting their hands in the Scott Woodward and Brian Kelly pot and saying, hey, we're all in on what he's doing, because it is bizarre to not have a
Hey, buddy.
OC or DC yet,
Good, man. Hold tight.
which makes me think they're waiting for somebody that's still in the playoff for the NFL.
Yeah, that's what this quote from I don't even know, DJ Wesolak, the 4-star edge rusher. He said, all I heard was Coach Kelly say he was going to bring in the best of the best. He said the best might still be out there coaching. Might have to wait until the playoffs and stuff before he comes up there.
There we go.
All right, every Sunday night we talk to one of the top edge rushers in the Southeastern Conference and in college football. LSU out of Georgia, BJ Ojulari. He joins us every week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. BJ, good evening. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Yes, sir.
How has the first couple of days of bowl preparation gone?
It was good. We had our first workout with the new strength conditioning staff, so we got a little light sweat in just to get us going, get our feet back under ourselves before we start practice tomorrow.
Take me into that. That was that's Coach Flint, right?
Yes, sir.
How was that? I mean, that had to be a pretty awkward yet exciting, anxious kind of. Give me the emotions of after spending every day with Tommy Moffitt, walking into the later part of your sophomore season and getting coached up by a new strength coach.
It's definitely a different atmosphere, different feeling. But it's still the same guys, same teammates. So just us all being together, staying together, it still created that family feel that we always had. It's going to be a adjustment, getting used to the new coaches, but it's part of the business.
High motivation for this bowl? I mean, are you guys motivated to get out there and play again?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like Coach Brad Davis said, the goal wasn't to get to the bowl, it's to win it. So we're still going to prepare like we're trying to win a championship. But, yeah, it's definitely a lot of guys motivated playing the bowl game and showcase their talents for one more time.
How's the mood around the building right now with you got some guys – new guys on staff? You've got some guys that are a part of the older staff that may have an opportunity to hang around. What's the mood around the building?
I haven't been really in the building much, up in the offices. I've just been getting training and stuff like that. But the mood it's hard to explain. You don't know if your coach is still going to be here for next year, but they're still around. So it's hard to explain right now. But hopefully we can get a better feel for it coming into practice tomorrow.
You guys asking questions, BJ? You guys curious and asking kind of like what the future holds?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We definitely, communicate with our coaches and see, what they're hearing or what everybody else is saying. So, but nobody's really certain for sure. So it's all up to to the head coach or to the athletic director.
Yeah. How has Durante Jones been through this and through bowl preparation? How's the communication been like with your current DC?
Communication has been pretty good. I haven't really seen Coach Durante in a couple weeks. I've just been focused on academics. So tomorrow we're gonna get the first practice of bowl prep and just go from there.
How was exams, bro? How was that?
Oh, exams was good. Finished strong. Passed all my classes. Going into the intercession, trying to get ahead and get that degree.
So you were on session to graduate? When?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When are you on pace to graduate?
I'm not sure. The plan was to graduate in 3.5 or possibly 3. So I'm probably just I want to say either 2 or 3 semesters off from graduation.
Have you had a chance to start looking at Kansas State?
Not yet. We're gonna dive in that tomorrow. We got our first meeting at 1:30.
Have you had a chance to talk any more to Brian Kelly, to the new coach?
No, we haven't really got a chance to talk to him, or me personally talk to him one-on-one. You know, he's been busy around recruiting and you know, just everybody around him wants to talk to him around the facility and stuff. So it's hard to talk to him one-on-one right now. But we had a good time at the official visit with the recruits and stuff. Me and Dre, we had a little conversation with him at Talk Golf. So that was pretty good.
I'd imagine that you're probably the headline recruiter for Quincy Wiggins, right?
No, I'm not the headline recruiter, but I'm definitely pushing him. You know, me, Mason, Andre, the whole D-line. We're pushing him to come here. He's going to be a great addition to LSU and to add depth to the D-line.
Have you had a chance to meet Frank Wilson?
No, I haven't got a chance to meet Frank Wilson yet.
Yeah. All right, man, back at it, right? So now it's no school. It's just football. It's kind of like being a pro. How do you approach the next couple of weeks?
You know, it's definitely going to be easier time management. You know, Coach Davis said he's not trying to kill us during practice or nothing like that. So it's going to be a smooth transition going back into practicing, into bowl prep. So it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be definitely not challenging, but definitely a new experience from what we know. So I'm definitely ready and looking forward to getting a bowl prep.
BJ, are you entering a year that you have been thinking about your entire life? Are you about to go into a year like the money year of your college football season where, you know, you're about to be a draft eligible player and you're about to play what could potentially be the last 13 to 15 college football games of your life? Have you started to think about what you're about to enter?
Oh, yes, sir, most definitely. You know, going into next year, you know, I'm just playing for all the marbles. You know, I just want to be the best player that I can be, put my team in a position to win, you know, raise my stock, of course. And by doing that, it's about win games. You know, most teams in the NFL look at the teams that are winning. So if I can just help my team on defensive end be able to win as many games as we can, will definitely help me, put me in a position that I want to be personally.
Yeah. Have a great week, bro. Looking forward to talking to you next week as we'll be one week closer again to watching you guys play some football. And Merry early Christmas.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it, man. There is BJ Ojulari checking in this evening, just like he always does on a Sunday night. Always good to talk to BJ, bro. It really does. I mean, he's very refreshing to talk to. He feels very honest.
I was going to say, he's very honest.
Very genuine.
That first practice with
I don't know if he just broke
coach,
a rule there asking him about Quincy Wiggins. That was probably a
we can
rule
cut
breaker.
Is it?
But it did sound pretty good.
I like what he said.
I mean, it did sound pretty good.
He answered it like we knew something. He was very open about that answer as well.
Bill Gallen, yes, it is. Yeah, I think we did. It's all good.
A little nervous?
No.
Okay. It had to be so weird walking into that strength and conditioning session or whatever.
Had to be.
Just to feel it's like you got a new dog. It's like, put the old one out to be like, I'm not sure about. Okay, let's feel it out a little bit.
Yeah.
It had to be so weird because it felt like you know what you were getting with Tommy Moffitt every morning. Like, oh shit, here we go. And this was like, I don't know. Let's see how he is. Is he on this side or this side? And the video, it looked like they were even a little. Couldn't really get into the flow of what to do next.
Sure. Well, I mean, it had to be very, very awkward. He seems very machine-like, Flint.
Yes.
Like he seems very like robotic. You know what I mean? Like he's got a process. He's following the steps. He's going through the whole checklist.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that share button. We appreciate you spending our Sunday nights, your Sunday nights with us.
I think we just broke a rule.
We definitely did. I think we definitely did. But, you know, I mean, if you want to take anything away from that, that was a really cool inside look to some of the conversations that Mason Smith, Quincy Wiggins, Andre Anthony have been having. And it did sound like BJ was speaking in the first tense, like he was going to be a part of that room. Look, like Shea Dixon said on Friday, and Shea was here on Friday. Go 247, and they're about to. This is Christmas time. This is literally Christmas comes a couple of weeks early here for the 247 fellows, Embody and crew and Sonny Ship and Shea Dixon with this early signing period. Shea, as he said very eloquently on Friday, you're not watching what they say, you're just kind of watching their actions. And while it has sounded like Quincy Wiggins has had Alabama in the lead a lot of this recruitment, in the last possible weekend that he's being recruited, he's at LSU. Maybe it's a smokescreen, maybe he's throwing people off, but Shaz Preston's in Tuscaloosa. That's not good for LSU, right? I'm sure the people in Alabama is thinking, man, he's in Baton Rouge. That's not good for us. Nick Saban, one of his first order of business when the period opened up and he could start going and traveling and seeing players, he went up to Shreveport and he saw Kendrick Law. Law was at LSU this weekend. I think that's a good sign for LSU. There's also some news that you have to watch. Dead period kicks in tonight at midnight. That means no more in-person contact through this week's signing period, which has to be a very stressful time for coaches. The fact that you've just got to kind of put it all out there.
So no more in person, but you can still text and
you can still electronically talk. But you gotta imagine how much these things are coming in over the next 72 hours, and guys have heard and kind of seen everything that they can offer, and you just kind of want to go into the mode where you want to kind of figure it out. We'll have to wait and see on the news of guys like Jacoby Matthews and Trevante Citizen and, guys that have been committed at times and now remain uncommitted, heading into the week. I did say where Shea and the crew were talking about Jordan Allen, the defensive back from Lafayette Christian. Sage Ryan and Fitzgerald West both come out of that school. Ryan, of course, the star-studded freshman defensive back who just played his first season of college football, and Fitz West is coming in as a center signee. He actually plays defensive tackle for Lafayette Christian, but I think they've inked him with the thought in mind to transition him over to the offensive line and make him a center. It looks like Jordan Allen, the defensive back from that area, is going to end up at LSU after picking up a late offer from Brian Kelly in the process. Another name is Landon Abedia or Abida from Mandeville High School, who, in my opinion, I think that this was long overdue.
He can go.
Can he go? He is a big-time player. I hate to say Besh because people will just say, you say Besh because he's white. Right. But he's not. It's not because they're both white. It's that they run angry, they run great routes, and here's the deal: they don't drop anything. He doesn't drop. He's got the best hands in the state. Besh had the best hands in the state last year. This guy Abida's got the best hands in the state this year. He doesn't drop anything, and he runs away from people.
I was about to say he's fast. He's got the white
deceivingly fast.
Deceivingly fast.
He's deceivingly fast. He runs away from people. And then Verge's kids were here this weekend, which I think is pretty big news, because I think when you think of Austin and Jaden Ausberry, Austin Ausberry is the older one, and U-High just wrapped up a state championship, a state title, first under Andy Martin. Congratulations to Coach Martin and the Cubs as they beat a feisty Edie White team on Friday night. Edie White gave U-High everything they wanted down at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, down at Raging Cajun Stadium. But Austin Ausberry and Jaden Ausberry, two of the top players, obviously, on University's squad here on the state championship run. Jaden's probably the one that most colleges want. I think that Austin, he's a high-end player. He doesn't have as many offers. He's got a lot of big-time offers. He's got the LSU offer. He's got the Texas A&M offer. He's got the Notre Dame offer. He's got the Michigan offer. He doesn't have the Bama offer and the Georgia offer, but he's got some really high-end offers. Jaden, the younger brother, can go anywhere he wants. He's got he's got everything. He's probably a 5-star defensive back. And I think that popular sentiment on Ausberry's kids was, look, man, they've grown up going to everything LSU their whole life, and they've really got opportunities to go and play, just about anywhere they want. And a lot of people around them were pretty steadfast on the fact that they were going to get out of town, that they were going to leave. And I think people agreed with that. People were kind of okay with it. I don't think that people were really busting Verge's balls over it. I don't think that people were kind of like, Verge, how are you going to let your kids leave LSU? But I think, again, don't look at what they say, look at what they do. And Austin Osbury being here on Sunday night, on Sunday and finishing up this recruiting weekend, I think tells you a lot. So, you're picking up a couple of defensive backs, possibly an Allen out of Lafayette Christian and Osbury out of University High that have been off the board up until this point. So they should have some surprises that come through on Wednesday and through this early signing period. And they're going to have some guys, that they've gone back through the process and kind of, offered some players that weren't offered initially. So it's going to be interesting to see how this class shakes up on Wednesday. And Frank Wilson has such a good understanding of this state and evaluating players and how they can, really transition to LSU to the SEC. So I can't wait to see what this class looks like. We'll have it covered here throughout the week. We'll talk to Sonny Shipp and Billy Mbani and Shea Dixon and all of those guys over at Go247 to keep up with the latest and some of the commitments here and what's happening for LSU's class.
I thought Shea made a very interesting point. It's kind of like what you just said, is that the more that you see some of these guys that LSU is targeting not sign in the early signing period, you would think that that's good news for LSU football, right? That's a chance for them to get them later, and they got in their ear maybe just in time to, you don't have to sign early if you don't want to. I know it's a thing that's in vogue, but if you're just thinking an inkling about coming to LSU, you can wait a little bit, and that offer will still be there from every other school. But let us, give us a second to get the pitch together. Let Frank Wilson come and talk to you. Let Brian Kelly come and talk to you. Don't just knock us out because you wanted to sign early. So I think that's like you said, the more the people that you don't see signed by Wednesday, LSU probably will be able to make a pretty good run at some of those guys.
Yeah, without question. I think that they're going to probably close some guys that we're not anticipating that they could close.
Well, that's Frank.
That's what I got.
Frank.
I got excited seeing Jacoby Matthews. He kind of I think he bumped his back from the All-American game to February.
Yeah.
And so seeing Mike Elko leave A&M and then Jacoby Matthews do that kind of line up, it just kind of makes you feel
recruiting
good.
him. Yeah.
And then the same thing with the Elko move. That makes me feel better about Harold Perkins and some of those other guys that are kind of.
I kind of feel like they're going to get Perkins,
especially now that Elko's going to Duke.
It
and
really feels like. The more you watch his social media and keep up with him,
Uncle Al.
It's like, bro,
Uncle Al.
Uncle Al's not going to let him go anywhere.
I love Uncle Al.
Uncle Al might be the secret sauce.
We need to talk to Uncle Al.
Uncle Al probably got a couple of phones
ASAP.
Let me give you a good number for Uncle Al.
Make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're on the, if you're inside the bunker, we see you there. We appreciate you being there. Give us a comment. We got Kayshon Boutte coming up here in a couple of minutes. Remember, every Sunday night we're brought to you by the Law Office of Lance Beal. LawOfficeOfLanceBeal.com. 337-991-6263. Get in touch with our friend over there. Personal injury, small business, construction law, family law, estate planning. That's what the practice includes over there at Lance Beal's attorney at law. He can help you out with that. Oh, look out. Pick six to the house. Justin Fields make the tackle. See you, man.
Is that Jair Alexander? This is first
No,
game back.
that's somebody else.
Pick six for Green Bay and the Packers to put them up 13-10 here in the second quarter. Man, it was good to see Alvin Kamara back in action today. He is a breath
of fresh air.
Game changer for the Saints, man.
I was
Saints
listening.
roll.
I didn't get to
Jets
see.
are terrible.
Jets are terrible.
They are terrible.
Hey, that's on us guys for not putting the under out there. I'm pretty sure it hit. I would imagine because that's the first couple. I guess two quarters of that game. I was listening in the car. It's like they're not talking about anything.
Yeah,
they have nothing to say.
I watched Red Zone all morning, and it took until the third quarter until you started watching. There was nothing to watch in the game. It was like 7-3 at half, 10-3 at half. It was.
But listening to Deuce talk about Alvin Kamara, he's like, it's hard to explain. It's like when he's like, I don't understand how he wiggles, and it's just every time he talked about it, it's like, that's just patented Kamara. He just slithers through a hole and gets you 6 and gets you 8. And somehow I know what he's talking about, but not really describing it.
Right.
He's water.
It is, it's so fun to watch him play. he really does. He's got it all.
Yeah.
He does.
Like, he's got the speed to run away from you. He's got the power. He ran some defensive back flat over today in the open field. He catches everything.
I heard he put somebody on skates too.
He's got so much shake in a small amount of space, and his first step is as fast as his third step, and it doesn't look as if he's really
trying.
I mean, he's like gliding out there. I mean, I love his. They call him water. You know what I mean? Because he's just like, you can't grip him. You can't.
He plays at his own pace,
and
and that's
the balance.
Yes, that's the most impressive part, probably. It's just you can't knock him off his spot.
That's the stuff that we see on those training videos. I mean, him standing on the Bosu balls and catching the hexa sticks and doing all the
colors right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just that stuff is freakish, man. I mean, that is freaky.
I mean, there was
what
one play
doing.
He caught this little screen, and I think it was Eric McCoy's out in front, and it's just like in his way, and Kamara like comes to a full stop behind him, and just steps back, shakes to the right, and then gets a first down. And I was like,
he's never out of control.
Every other back's going out of bounds behind him right there.
Little Le'Veon Bell to his game,
yeah.
like old Le'Veon.
He's got a lot of
different pieces.
Yeah, he does. All right, Westgate won their first 4A state championship last night. They won it 14-13 over Warren Easton, and this game was wild. I didn't know that they had review in high school football. I learned that last weekend at Catholic High Jesuit. They went to the
that
film.
Won't work. That won't make anybody.
And then last
work out
night,
perfect, I'm sure.
They go to it on a third down where there is a 7-minute stall in the game. Then they have to line up 4th and goal, and Westgate holds them on the 4th down and win the first state championship in their program's history. Of course, their most famous alum is Kayshon Boutte. He was at the game. We'll ask him about all of the emotion and watching Westgate win. We'll ask you about how his rehabilitation is going. We'll ask him about the rumors that's been popping out there. We'll ask him and give him a chance to kind of give an idea of where he stands right now. So we'll talk about it all with, in my opinion, what is probably going to be the best player in college football next year, Kayshon Boutte, LSU star wide receiver, next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, we're brought to you by the law offices of Lance Beal. Get in touch with Beal, our friend over there, man. He's easy to find online at lawofficeoflancebeal.com. That is B-E-A-L when you spell Beal out. That is lawofficeoflancebeal.com. Kayshon Boutte next, right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You kicked it out of bounds, bro.
Les Miles did.
I mean, cut that guy. That's a Mason Crosby, is it?
It is.
Good Lord.
Put it in the corner.
He has struggled tremendously this year.
It's been I mean, that Cincinnati Bengals game was just.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about that. Dude.
We needed to get to Joey B and and Jamar. Jam.
A little shaky.
I mean, dude, you know, I mean, that rookie wall is real.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Until you give him one-on-one coverage, and he's going to dust your ass every time.
Little sluggo.
I did, dude. Got him again.
All right, we're going to talk to Kayshon next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's T-R-U, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. T-R-U, bluewater.com. A really good game that we're watching here at Lambeau here on Sunday night as Chicago strikes again. Chicago's got some speed.
Yeah.
I guess.
I
The
mean,
NFL, dude.
they've got a little
I
drive.
can't
after-
remember the last time the Bears have looked this fast. They're flying
Devin
around
Hester.
out there.
It's a shame Matt Nagy's going to have to leave all this talent behind. You think Ryan Day is going to go to Chicago
No.
to coach his boy? A lot of smoke about that.
I know, I hear it. I hear
I smell it.
it. Do you believe it?
I can see it because they're fed up with Nagy just because I listened to some.
Well, I do
Well,
believe.
yeah,
I do
yeah,
believe
Nagy's
Nagy's
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do believe Nagy's out.
But they've held on to him for a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a next guy
Right.
in line that they would just, all right, let's do Nagy again. Now he's got a quarterback, whatever.
Right.
Hey, you good?
So much cooler than me.
Kayshon?
Yeah, he just answers the phone cool.
All right, let's go to the best wide receiver in college football still. I think the stat went, Kay, where you were a month out and you were still leading the SEC in touchdowns. Did you have any idea how dominant your game was the first early part of the season? Kayshon,
Yes, sir.
you got me?
Yeah, it went out. I couldn't hear you.
I was asking you about the stats, how you were still leading the SEC in touchdowns like a month after you were out. Did you have any idea how dominant your game was early in the season?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of started off on the right track, and I feel like without the injury, it would have been even better. And it would have been no question about who the Biletnikoff was for.
I think you would have probably been invited to the Heisman, sir. I really do. I think that you were on pace to probably be in the discussion of somebody that like can change the game. Just the capacity in which you were. I mean, like I said, you were leading the conference in touchdowns a month after you were hurt. How is your injury? Where are you at on your rehabilitation?
I'm just doing rehab every day. It's getting better slowly but surely.
A lot of people saw you at the Westgate game last night, moving around. What part of the process are you in rehab?
I just started walking on it probably like a week or two ago. So I'm kind of deep into the rehab process.
What has this been like for you? This part of all of this coaching changes at LSU, going through the rehab. What's the last month and a half of your life been like?
It's just been a lot. I'm just taking everything day by day, seeing what everybody plan is coming in.
Have you had a chance to sit down with Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I sat down with him once.
How was that conversation?
It was good. Kind of just talked about football and life.
Do you have a feeling about kind of where you are? I mean, I'm sure you've heard the rumors, and I don't want to ask you anything transfer, all that stuff. But I mean, do you have an idea of what you want to do over the next year, or are you just kind of wait and seeing?
I'm just waiting and seeing though, really.
When do you think that you're going to be healthy?
I give it about a month and a half.
Do you have plans to go through spring ball? Do you want to go through spring?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where you're going to go through spring at?
LSU.
That's great news. That is fantastic news. How good was that Westgate football game last night?
I mean, it was great to watch. It was great. It was a great ball, honestly. First time ever going to a state competing, and then they won it by 1 point, so it was excellent to watch.
Did you know that they had review in high school football?
Yeah, I knew it.
How crazy was that last part of the goal line stand? You were in the building. What was the emotion like when that play went off during the time? I believe it was like a 7-minute wait when they were at the review. What was that like in the building?
I feel like when it come down to a moment like that, it's all about who won it the most. And Westgate won it the most, and it really showed.
Danny Lewis deserves an LSU offer. I mean, just like if we're talking objectively, I know that you don't control that, but I mean the tight end for you guys was phenomenal.
Yes, sir. I feel like he do deserve an LSU offer.
What was the news like for you on your quarterbacks, on Max Johnson and I guess Miles Brennan too? What was that like for you?
So I mean, it was huge news for me knowing that my quarterback had entered the transfer portal. So it kind of had a big shock on me. But we just seeing where it go from here.
How was this weekend for you in recruiting? Did you take part in the recruiting weekend? I know this was an enormous weekend for recruiting. Did you take part in it?
Yes, sir. I took a little part of it. And I saw a couple of the recruits. Kind of talked with a little bit of them.
How was exams?
Exams wasn't bad. It was kind of a good week. I know. I feel like one exam kind of got me, but other than that, I feel like it was straight.
What subject?
Kinesiology.
Okay. All right.
I've been there.
You should just tell me, put me on the field. I mean,
study a human movement and just watch the tape.
Forget these tests. Just put me on the field. So what is this? What is this next part for you going to be like? No football. I mean, no school now. Kind of how's the schedule work for you as you're not preparing for the bowl? Obviously, you'll be out with the injury. But what's your schedule look like?
Rehab. That's all it is.
Are you traveling over to the bowl? Will you be in Texas?
Yeah, I will be.
All right, bro. It's great to catch up with you, man. What was this first year of NIL stuff like? Now that you kind of got to step back and know what it was like and had a year under your belt. I mean, I imagine you're probably set up to make a ton of money next year. What was this run like?
I mean, it was kind of iffy to me coming in, but throughout the whole process, I kind of got more familiar with everything. Now I can say NIL is really going good.
Best of luck with everything, man. We will stay in touch. We'll talk to you next Sunday night. Can we pick this back up on Sunday night?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. There he is, Kayshon Boutte, LSU's top wide receiver. Said he's going through spring at LSU. Said he wants to sit and wait. He wants to see him make his decision. And we'll see, man. We'll see.
Seems like him and Max were tight.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they came in the same class.
Yeah. Well, you saw the drop off for Max Johnson when he didn't have Boutte.
Right.
It was one of the better tandems in college football. He wasn't necessarily spreading it around, but when he needed a big play, he was always looking for one, and it really worked out for. You saw the drop off in Max's stats as soon as Boutte got off the field. So they had a little rapport for sure.
A lot of people cringing at our interview. We were talking about the cringe of Brian Kelly and Walker Howard. Some of you cringing at the interview. Andrew Messina said this is on Quincy Wiggins' level of awkwardness. Simplify Crawfish says this is soul-wrenching. Ashton Dillon says he's staying and he's bringing his people with him. Jason Luke says he ain't about the interviews. Andrew Davis says, so he's staying, right? I kind of picked up that he's staying.
He's not out the door. He would have been. He wouldn't have been on the phone.
Yeah.
Cringe. Listen, you got to know how Kayshon operates here. We've had him on a couple times. He's a man of few. Kayshon's about that action.
Yeah.
He ain't too concerned with the interviews. He'll give you some answers.
He answers the questions.
He's he's just a.
He's not a preacher.
Yeah, easy to get it across.
Chiquita Amos Boutte is one of those guys that doesn't like interviews much. It's always short and sweet and to the point.
Hell yeah.
Tom Granning over at Go Mart, our friend down there in Natchez, very short and to the point. Jason Luke, KB, all about that ball, nothing else. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that share button. That was Kayshon Boutte, about 6 minutes there, asking him about his rehab, asking him about exams, asking him about where he's going to be in the spring. He's heard the rumors, what's going on. I thought he was really forthright and honest. We appreciate him stopping by and being there and obviously he was at the state championship game last night. And a lot of people were kind of talking about how he was moving around. He wants to go through spring practice. He sat down with Brian Kelly. So we appreciate Kay for stopping in here. We appreciate Lance Beal Law Offices for bringing our Sunday night conversations to you. Remember, the law office of lancebeal.com is where you find them. Looking forward to our conversation tomorrow morning with Will Wade on this LSU basketball team. Some of the stuff that came out from Wade last night, I thought that was, it's another sign of him thinking and knowing that he's got a really good team. LSU right now it's pretty incredible when you look at some of the numbers where they are. Their defense is leading the nation right now in field goal defensive field percentage, and they are only allowing 33% of shots to be made from them against them from the field. Last night, Georgia Tech turned the ball over 24 times, leading to 30 points for LSU. A lot of that is their harassing defense. I think when they played the three-quarter court zone trap, and they try to drive you to the corner and throw pop-ups into the middle of the court, and they get out and running, they look like one of the best teams in the country. I mean, when they were running, there were a couple of sequences last night where they were up and down the floor. This was one of the sequences where Fudge had the dunk block. I thought that was going to be the number one play on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did. I thought that was going – that play is so athletically demanding and so hard to accomplish in real-time action, and he made that look like a video game.
Overtime Fudge.
It was just a glimpse at the athleticism. LSU comes at you in waves. I think that really Josh Pastner, bro. What about those sideburns?
What a look! It's a look.
It looked like the guy
like,
from Community.
I'm not here to bang on people that are gaining weight over the last 5 years, because I get it. When you hit 40, it's different, bro. But
Terrifying.
Pastner looks like he ate the old Josh Pastner, and the sideburns looked like he's still at Memphis, like rocking Elvis look. I mean, those sideburns were so aggressive. I was like, is that Pastner?
What was the style when you were in like high school? What was like the cool thing to have? Like if you could get away with any like facial hair or something like that, because it goes in waves.
Yeah, it was goatee.
Goatee.
Yeah, kind of the goatee. Yeah.
So could you couldn't do that in high school?
It was almost like the goatee where you would let this part grow, clean it in here, and let the mustache grow. You know what I mean? So like you would have
a window.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad.
And everybody wanted one too.
Absolutely.
Like if you couldn't grow one, you're like, God dang it, why don't I have one?
And I could do it.
No.
You know what I mean? I had facial hair at
12.
Ninth grade. I was growing full beard. You know, I mean, it was.
I wish.
It was all, yeah, right. Like you wished it, but then like by the time you're 24, 25, you're like, God, I wish I was baby faced again, man. I mean, it's such a pain in the ass to keep up with.
Because do you know how old Pastner is?
I would say he's around my age. I would think that I'm 41.
Well, too old for sideburns.
Let's see.
Very too much old for sideburns. That's what I thought. He's 44, so he's definitely too old for sideburns.
Because,
I don't think there's any age.
Well, that's why I brought up the question, because when my brother's 3 years older than I am. When he was a senior and I was a freshman in high school, like that was the thing. Like if you could grow your sideburns a little bit longer than below your ear, people would.
I would definitely. I grew sideburns back in the day, but I mean, like when I was 18 to 23, 24.
You realize how dumb it looks.
Yeah, right. Then you're like, you go on some date, and finally somebody shoots you straight. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this.
What a
Chicago.
Play. It's Jakeem Grant again.
I mean,
not only was it the return, but he went back like Deshaun.
Yeah, he did like Hall back in the day.
Yeah.
Who was Hall for the Kansas City?
D'Angelo
Halls. Yeah, like where he was just
joystick.
The human joystick.
The Bears remember that Aaron Rodgers said that he still owns them when they played earlier in the season.
Brian Thomas says, BS, I pick up he's leaving.
Okay.
Take what you want away from the conversation.
Why?
Right?
Why would you say that?
At what point were you driven to say, you know what, he's leaving? Will Burton, Kayshon did an appearance in Shreveport yesterday and got a jersey signed.
Oh, I did see that. I did see he made a little appearance.
NIL's been good to Kayshon, man.
I mean, look at the hoodie he was wearing in the interview.
It's been good. Who was the O lineman commit that just committed? Kelvin Banks.
Yes.
Just committed to Texas, and I was like, that's that.
Horns.
Pancakes.
Those pancakes.
That's gonna be a problem.
It is, but I think that they're actually trying to come out and legislate against it.
Yeah.
NCAA.
I mean, yeah, you got to.
Speaking of Texas, Quinn Ewers has officially transferred to
UT?
Texas. Yeah.
He's going to Texas. He's going back to Texas.
Going back to Texas.
That was where he was originally committed.
Ohio
no
State.
doubt they are. Texas is playing the NIL game better than anybody right now. They're going to be.
We kind of expect.
Yeah, they're going to be the first ones that I think hire somebody in place to just solely build their team on NIL deals.
Well, they're going to be the reason that the NCAA has to get involved.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do exactly what they're doing now, to where it's like, this doesn't seem the way that it was intended, but when you wrote the rules up, you didn't write any rules in. So people are going to take advantage of it.
Make sure that you hit that like button, share button. The GOAT says Quinn Ewers to Texas. Does this affect Arch? I'd imagine that probably does have an impact on Arch, because I think that people have always thought that Texas is going to be there. Alabama seems like they're in the hunt, and then Ole Miss after the weekend.
Lane and Dion are hanging out.
Oh, Lane is killing it.
After the weekend, bro, he is.
Did you see the picture of him in the Porsche?
Yes.
And then there's the video of him and a recruit. I think it was a JUCO recruit. They're riding and they're playing music, and he flips the phone to Kiff, and he's got his hoodie, and he's partying the sip. I was like, oh.
And we got Brian Kelly doing the two-step on a shared stage that's too big for two people. I mean, too small for one person.
So, anybody read the report to Auburn from the NCAA?
I didn't read the report, but I saw what.
I thought we were saying that for tomorrow's show.
We could, but just a little teaser. Auburn's men's basketball program placed on 4 years probation, and Coach Bruce Pearl has been suspended for a whopping 2 games. Now remember, Auburn had two administrators arrested on campus. They had one assistant coach handcuffed in the practice arena for Auburn. Like, on campus, thrown in handcuffs. And Auburn got 4 years probation, where they give up a couple of scholarships, still postseason eligible, and Bruce Pearl has been suspended 2 games. I mean, people, Will Wade and LSU are in the clear. I'm telling you, Will Wade and LSU, other than them just trying to build a fraudulent case on LSU basketball and trying to bully them out with PR, which is what the strategy is. I mean, can you imagine the melt inside of Pat Forty's home on Friday afternoon when they saw that report come out? The weekend that Forty's wife had to dealing with him bitching and just being a brat all weekend, had to be just she was probably like, just leave, just go somewhere. Just go vacation somewhere by yourself. You and Calipari, go follow him wherever he is this weekend. Pick up his laundry, grab his bags, make sure all the bottles are watered for his team when they play on Saturday, and come back on Monday with a smile on your face, because I know that Auburn getting 4 years probation, giving up a couple of schollies, and Bruce Pearl sitting out 2 games has got you melting.
And he's already set out. He set out the game yesterday. Huh?
Yeah,
he's got one.
He's got one left.
Whoop Nebraska.
Is anybody paying attention to college basketball right now? I mean, conference play hadn't even started. It's still football season. Nobody even knows that basketball is going on. The truth, I mean, like, nobody's really paying attention from a holistic standpoint on Auburn basketball. Somebody's going to run the graphic in March. In February, that Bruce Pearl has already served the 2-game suspension, and people are going to be like, say what? When did that happen? Oh, back in December when you weren't watching. And but remember, Auburn had two administrators, one assistant coach arrested on campus. Like, federal FBI agents kicked in the practice facility doors, stormed the grounds, and put Coach Persons in handcuffs and let him out of the building and arrested him. And they got 4 years probation and 2-game suspension for the head coach. They got Will Wade on tape saying something about some strong-ass offer that they just can't prove on what he's offering strong-ass on. They know they got it on the tape. Yeah, we've heard the tape. We've all heard the tape. We've all heard the tape, but nobody's been able to prove what that strong ass offer is, and that's got everybody really crazy, man. It's driving you mad. Pat Forty, it's broken your credibility in journalism. That credibility that you wanted and tried to build up for years and years and years. And for a while there, when you endured the 40-yard dash over at Yahoo, you were as credible as they made them in the trade. And then for whatever reason, it'll be really interesting on why you, Walken, and the crew have come out and have burned and torched your credibility on the back of the NCAA. Like, that model you're defending and going after Will Wade and schools like LSU for just doing what everybody else in the sport is doing that's trying to be competitive. You know it. You've been knowing it. You've been covering characters who have been doing it for decades and decades. And now the NCAA is really kind of coming out and saying, yeah, we know what's happening everywhere. We've actually got guys being arrested on campus, and we can't do shit about it. Suspend him for 2 games in December. I guess. Take away 2 scholarships a year, or whatever it is.
Let's see who their next game is.
I mean,
you say this makes you really feel bad for Oklahoma State that's got a postseason ban.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like, how would they do? They don't even know how they're punishing people. Like, the NCAA doesn't know how their wide ranging of punishments, what it's going to be. So here you get postseason ban over here. Bruce Kelly, you get 2 games in the middle of December.
Meanwhile, Will Wade is crawling up his team's ass with about 4 minutes left in the first half down in Atlanta versus Georgia Tech, and they press their foot down on the gas to the metal and just blow Georgia Tech out. LSU's so good. Like, really. Like, they are so good when they get out and they start defending and run. Now, their offense has to improve.
Yeah, the half-court.
The half-court offense has got to get better. They just stand around. They're a little too stagnant. And as Will Wade says repeatedly, the ball just sticks in spots, right? And it looked like the depth perception was messing with them yesterday in the way that they were shooting. That was an NBA gym that they were playing in yesterday. No excuses. No excuses.
But it's different. And they've played a lot of games at home this year also.
They have. And they have struggled. Even at the Emerald Coast Classic, they struggled to find it early on offensively. I didn't think that they would struggle this mightily on offense. It was tough to fathom a Will Wade team. You know, you always thought of Will Wade's teams that they could roll out of bed and get you 80. And potentially this team can. I think that once they get their scoring right and they start kind of figuring it out, they'll get to a spot where they're confident offensively. But right now they are so good on defense where they just choke you out. Every shot you got to get, every shot you try to find, every time you try to look for an open lane, it is work. Like, you are working for everything. You're working to get the ball across half court. You're working to control and handle the ball on one-on-one defense. It's tough to find passing lanes. It's tough to find dribble lanes. It's tough to find shot lanes. When the ball goes up, they are ferociously blocking you out and crashing the boards. I mean, they are so fundamentally sound. First off, defensively. I mean, they beat you to spots. They trap you. They defend. They don't foul. They don't over-pursue. They don't overplay. I mean, they are so impressive early on in the college basketball season defensively that it really does give me the confidence that their offense is really going to catch on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they'll find their groove. I thought Brandon Murray shot it really good yesterday.
I think when he starts to get, like, more in rhythm, because there's sometimes that he'll catch a ball on, like, a kick out or something, and he's, like, a second slower. And so he could have had a shot, but he didn't take it. And he keeps it. I feel like once he can get in rhythm, he can kind of be that go-to shot maker.
And that's what Will Wade said. He's like, he's one of our best offensive players. He doesn't shoot enough. And he was talking probably to Brandon Murray. Like, you just go shoot.
Well, he did. He said he was directly speaking to him.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I think Mwani Wilkinson needs to shoot it more.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, when he squares it up, his jump shot is pretty, man. I mean, like, he gets off the ground, lands in the same place that he takes off from. I mean, he's got a really good-looking jumper. And I think Pinson, at some point,
it's gonna click.
It's gonna start to click for him. I mean, he's got too many open looks that he doesn't hit that you just think at some point he's gonna start knocking those down.
I agree, and I mean, especially with all the experience he has, being in the SEC for as long as he has, and being Missouri's best player for, especially last year. I mean, he's gonna get it straight.
Yeah. Dustin Blanchard asked, who was the kid who tore his ACL in the preseason? Adam Miller, the transfer from Illinois. He was sitting on the bench last night. Sounds like his rehab is going really good. Like, he's ahead of speed, and he'll be good to go next year. I'm telling you, they're going to be great next year. The addition of Julian Phillips, the 5-star power forward out of Florida, and the potential of some of these guys coming back,
Justice
and how you mix and mash some of these guys. You think of Justice Williams. You think of, even like Atari Eason. I mean, Eason. My goodness, man!
If he's here next
possibly,
year.
yeah. I mean, he's playing so good.
He is one of the best all-around college basketball players that I've watched.
He's definitely the one. He's the best one at LSU over the past 15, 20 years. I mean, he's the most all-around good. Can do everything.
Yeah,
he can handle it. He can shoot it. He can defend. He can run. He can. He's as gifted as a basketball player as LSU's had as I can remember. If somebody asked me who's the best player on this team, it'd be tough for me not to say 13.
I would.
Do you think they put him in the starting lineup at some
No.
point?
I wouldn't mess with his rotation and substitutions. I think right now that thing is clicking gold. Yeah. Everybody's bought in. Nobody loses interest in the game. Everybody feels like they're a part of it, and he's always on the floor at the end.
Right.
Which is, you know what I mean? You can start if you want, bro. When it's crunch time.
You saw the slow start.
Yeah, I know. But I think that they, you know, I mean, like, I think the offense will be okay.
What version of Will Wade do we get tomorrow? Because he came in last week with he had an agenda to get his message across. He wasn't done talking from the podium.
Yeah.
Speaking of wives, I'm sure she had to hear the whole breakdown after the game. Do you think he is in that same vein of, like, kind of coaching up through the interview, or he's going to be a little relaxed?
You know, he's in mid-season form now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him on first off Friday. They had trouble getting out of Baton Rouge. The pilot ran off the tarmac and got the plane stuck at Baton Rouge Metropolitan on the tarmac. Some of the back and forth.
So used to going to Oklahoma.
Some of the back and forth between Wade and the pilot should have been taped for entertainment. It was it was some of the best. I mean, just incredible, just detailed evaluation. Coach, what happened in the plane? This dumb motherfucker, motherfucker, stupid mother. Thank you. All right. Got the team off of the plane, put them back on the bus, took them over to school and practiced them for 2 hours while they were waiting on the plane to get towed out of the mid-infield of Baton Rouge Metropolitan after the pilot had sunk the thing on trying to get it off the ground. A lot of those guys hate to fly. A lot of the administrators hate to fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You sink a plane on the way out. Now you've got an anxiety-riddled plane on the way in the air for 2.5 hours.
I can't trust him to go straight down the runway. How am I going to trust him in the air?
It was unbelievable, dude. But he is talking to him during that period and then talked to him late on Saturday night when they got back. He's in mid-season. He don't even know the final score. You know what I mean? Like, he just knows they won and they're on to the next one.
Wait, we're not even
yeah, exactly. Like, he is so deep in the lab and so deep in mid-season form that he'll probably sound like a scientist tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? And it'll probably sound very
analytically driven.
Yes, very number driven, very part of the process.
Right.
This is where we are. This is where we should be. This is what we're focusing on developing. Here's where we are on individual development. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is that's happening behind the scenes that I think is driving towards LSU believing that they are a championship contending basketball program right now. I mean, I think that they believe that they are on a championship track, and that's headed by the head coach.
Yeah, and I mean, I was trying to look at the stats last night, pretending I was Will Wade. The turnovers,
little role play at little role play, right at the Tingle House.
You got turnovers.
Sarah's home.
One of the first things, 21 turnovers. He's going to be livid. But rebounding wise, they had 41 total rebounds to 29. Those are numbers that he looks at a lot, and I think on both sides of the spectrum, he's going to be happy about one set, upset about the other.
Because the last time he came on, he was talking about the rebounding stats and how he wasn't happy with them. So obviously worked on it, got better. Probably that practice after the plane.
It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
I thought that really and truly, I kind of thought they looked like they needed to get their legs for a minute. It was almost like he kind of ran him. He kind of overran him. You know what I mean? On Friday, yeah, right. Like, coach, back on the line. You know what I mean? Like, whoa.
Why don't you go get that pilot too?
They
he
were
can get a couple of suicides.
I mean, a bunch of them were like holding their shorts. You know what I mean? They were kind of like gassing. You know what I mean? He's like, I think he might have beat him up.
Would shock me.
Yeah. All right, we appreciate you being here on a Sunday night. We're back with you tomorrow. Will Wade will be here at 7:30. We'll talk about the recruiting weekend. We're going to try and track down Sonny Ship from Go 247 to have on tomorrow morning to recap what was a star-studded recruiting weekend. How did Frank Wilson do in his first week back on the job for LSU? How much of an impact can he make, according to Sonny and the crew over at Go247? But we will talk to the general tomorrow morning at 7:30. Make sure and set the alarm, set the notification. If you are not subscribed to the Jordy Culotta Show, do not leave here tonight without hitting set that subscription button. Right next to the subscription button is that alert bell. That means anytime we go live, you will get the alerts. A huge week coming up at the Noodle, at the new UDL. We're getting furniture in. We are getting wired up. We got TVs going up. We got sound and monitors coming over. There is a hope to be live from the Noodle before January 1st. And I'm telling you, once we get into the new DL, we are going to be producing much more content. It'll be much more than outside of 7 to 9 a.m. and Sunday nights. We're building a network over here at the Jordy Culotta Show, where Mikey Matuk is going to have a show. Rohan is developing a show. Lloyd's got a show in the works on doing some gambling. We're also talking about going back on in the afternoons from 1 to 3 every single day on the on our platform. So we've got a ton more of content coming out for you, and it's all done with appreciation of your support very much. So please hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Make sure and give our guy a shout out, Lance Beal, attorney at law. If you need legal representation, especially over in the Acadiana area in Lafayette, hook up with our guy Lance Beal as he can help you out. Online, law office of lancebeal.com. Have a good rest of your weekend and Sunday. We will be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.